Can I please have Paramedic Chuck Boone to the stage? Chuck will be sharing the story of Navy Corpsman Larry Ambrose and Larry's husband, Rich Greenaway.
Thank you, everybody. It is said that courage is being yourself every day in a world that tells you to be somebody else. I couldn't think of a better quote that represented my friends Rich and Larry and how they lived their lives. Rich and Larry both had the courage to be themselves every day, which showed in their love for each other and the love for their family and friends. They live with the courage to be themselves and hopefully provide inspiration to others to be who they are. Both of them were active members of the LGBT community, including participating and helping with past events of this Fallen Heroes Memorial. I first want to thank Scott and the LGBT Fallen Hero Fund for the opportunity to speak on behalf of my two friends. There are too many people that have fallen as heroes, and I honor them here today. Larry and Rich are two people who I'm proud to have been friends with, and as I stand up here, I know I'm not alone in calling them friends. Rich and Larry both passed too early and unexpectedly, with Rich dying from sudden cardiac arrest. He was working in the attic on the house that him and Larry had, and as usual, doing one of his DIY projects, and unfortunately passed away in the middle of that, but both him and Larry enjoyed so much doing their DIY projects in that house. And then unfortunately, Larry passed away a short time later from brain cancer. Rich and Larry never shied away from helping anyone in their community, and their involvement with this group is just one example of their open hearts. They both had ties to the military, with Larry proudly serving and retiring from the United States Navy, serving in both active duty and reserves, as well as Larry's time as a volunteer firefighter. I met Rich and Larry back in 1991. I was still in the Army and not yet comfortable with being out. And to say the least, those two gave me a great introduction to this community and the diversity that existed within it. I met Larry through a friend's party. At the time we met, we didn't realize we were both volunteers of the same county fire department. One night we were at a party, and Larry needed a ride home. And so on the way home, close to Larry's house, we came across a motorcycle accident. I pulled over immediately, and we both got out to help. And we were apparently both within range of our respective fire departments. Kensington Volunteer Fire Department showed up first, and then my rescue squad showed up second. It didn't hit either of us that we were both talking to respective members of our departments until we just looked at each other and were like, holy crap, we both work together. We stopped to run our aid, and after a few minutes, both departments arrived, and we were just glad to see that we both volunteered for the same department, and that started a great friendship together. It was only a few months after that incident that Larry met Rich, and at the time, I had no idea what great friends they were going to be. Rich was proudly involved in the nonprofit organization Every Child by Two, now known as Vaccinate Your Family. He worked there as director of operations, but he didn't just work for the organization. He believed very strongly in the mission of assuring that every child had the necessary vaccinations. For Rich, this led him to meet some fantastic people, and he was very proud of his job. Rich even had the opportunity to work with Rosalind and Jimmy Carter, Mrs. Carter being the co-founder of that organization. Rich and Larry were also very involved with the community, working on the Monday night roller skating rinks in Lanham, Maryland for many decades, and also participating in a few of the DC Gay Pride parades. I felt very fortunate to have had the opportunity to help him out with a couple of those parades, and even being able to have the opportunity to drive Rich's green Ford Ranger. It was his pride and joy. Larry was an active participant in the monthly horseback riding events that's held for LGBTQ members and friends. And that also gave both of us the opportunity to help a rider who fell from his horse and hit his head. Larry and I both got the opportunity to ride in the back of one of the PG County ambulances and bring our friend to the hospital. Rich and Larry also enjoyed traveling. They would often head out to Pennsylvania to visit Rich's family for either holidays or special events. And in recent years, we were able to talk Larry into going into cruises. Larry, being retired from the Navy, really did not want to have anything to do with boarding another ship. He said he had mopped enough decks in his life. Well, after his first cruise, He realized he wasn't going to have to mop any more decks, and he enjoyed several more cruises after that with us. Scott and Charger were great friends to have on those cruises with us, and through them, we all became a very tight-knit group on those trips, and had quite a few adventures. I also know that Larry and Rich both really enjoyed the time that they spent with Scott and Charger at their homes on Sunday evenings, the informal barbecues, and just hanging out and being with their friends and relaxing. And I know that they would want to pass that on. Larry and Rich were blessed with many friends, but I can't let this memorial pass without thanking Michael Upright, who was a close friend of Rich and stepped in when Larry needed his help towards the end of his life. I know Michael's not here today, but I just want to say that what he did for Rich and Larry can never be overstated, and I truly thank him. Rich and Larry were both fortunate to have found each other in life, and together in their involvement in the community is still appreciated by all who they touched. I want to end this by sharing one of Rich's favorite quotes. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you have failed by default. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chuck. Larry and Rich were dedicated volunteers for us here at the LGBT Fallen Heroes Fund. They helped with this very memorial for several years and with our annual Cupcakes for a Cause fundraising event. One thing that always stays with me is something Larry had told me at Rich's funeral. He said to me, "I'm so afraid of being one of those couples that have been together for so long that when one passes away, the other follows shortly after." Not long after he told me that, he was diagnosed with brain cancer and died just a few months later. We miss them both dearly.